you should still do it there too. I ran across an annuity the other day. The payoff's $200,000 when the gentleman dies. He's 84, and it's $250 now. I said, take the money and put it into gold and silver-related assets, and he agreed. And I had another one. The life policy was worth $250,000, and the death benefit was $270. And so I told them to do the same thing. So I believe insurance companies are going to have trouble. They're in stocks, and if you look at the stock market, it hits new lows recently, and I think it's going to go substantially lower, and I think companies are going to have a hard time paying off on their policies.
Let's talk a little bit about gold, Mr. Chapman, because you have traditionally been a gold bug, and it served you and it served your clients very well. Gold's testing 1,033. The key to what gold has been doing, as I see it, is decoupled from the dollar.
Right. It decoupled some time ago, and it's also decoupled from commodities as well as the oil, the energy complex, as it's called. And I expect that it's going to now proceed on its own. The 80% offtake that normally went to jewelry manufacturer is, I don't have a figure, and it's probably dropped to about 40 to 50%. And that's because the price of gold has gone up. And the real market in gold today is in investment. And that's borne out by the exchange-traded fund called SLD, which just continues to pile on the amount of gold they supposedly have in their fund. I'm not a fan of that because I don't trust them. I don't know that they're not using derivatives, and so I don't recommend it. I also suspect that they may be lending gold and the SLD, both in silver, are lending gold and silver to the government to manipulate the market. And another factor on the exchange-traded funds is there's probably about 900 tons of gold in the GLD, and I would think if they, in fact, are there, and I can't prove that they are because the situation is opaque, and I think if the government was ever going to consider confiscation, they would go after that fund.
Oh, I think they would. Now, one of the things that you also mentioned, and it's just a little blurb in here, that firearms manufactured and used in Montana will become exempt from federal regulation under a bill being considered in the Montana House. You've got a lot of states that are standing up, and they're coming very, very close to asserting a lot of states' rights, and some of them are real close to secession. I think we're going to see states seceding from the Union before it's all over.
I agree, and I think it's going to happen in Europe, and I think certain sections within countries are going to break up, and Spain is a good example, and it's tribalism, actually, and you're going to see the same thing throughout the entire world, and you're going to see revolutions probably in more than half the countries in the world, the U.S. included. I mean, the U.S. has 6 super FEMA detention camps. And I got that straight from someone who's been working on them. And also there's a number of others that already existed. These are new camps. And so what they intend to do is go out there and pick up anybody who disagrees and throw them into a camp. And that's why the government has been buying dehydrated and freeze-dried food for the past 2 years, truckload after truckload, going to certain destinations. And so, I get a lot of intelligence here from people who are in the military, who are subscribers, who send me this stuff all the time.
Sure. Now, one of the problems that we've had, and you put it as distinct as anybody I've ever heard, you say in your newsletter that just came out, you say, the people who destroyed the system via corruption and greed are supposedly trying to fix it. That's the problem. And when we get back, I want to talk with you about secret trades at the New York Stock Exchange. Secret trades, what's this all about? More with Robert Chapman, the International Forecaster. There are two ways to subscribe to the International Forecaster. One, go up to theinternationalforecaster.com. theinternationalforecaster.com. Now, theinternationalforecaster.com, and use the word "the" in there, is hyperlinked to ErskineOnRadio.com. So you can go up to my website, ERSKINE, on radio.com, and it's hyperlinked. I've also got on my website the 800 number that you can call toll-free, 877-479-8178. 877-479-8178. We'll give that number before the program's over tonight. 877-479-8178. And you can subscribe by calling that number. We'll, like I say, give you that number before the program's over. And there isn't an issue of the International Forecaster that I don't learn a lot. And one of the things that I learned about is this dark pool of insider anonymous trading. What is this, Mr. Chapman? How can they have anonymous dark pool trading? What is this?
Well, it's been going on for the last couple of years, and it's usually large brokerage firms, and they trade among each other, but they also trade with insurance companies and other professional investors. And it's all off the exchanges, so we never know what the volume is. We don't ever know what the prices are. It's kind of a secret market, and it can be regulated by the SEC, but they choose not to do so. It's just like, the naked shorts. They refuse to enforce their own rules, but they get plenty of time to chase the little broker and the little brokerage firm around, putting them out of business, or even harass newsletter writers, tell them they can say this and they can't say that. And so there's no legislation. It's opaque. You don't know what they're doing. And now the New York Stock Exchange is going to join them in doing this hidden activity, and because they're losing too much business. And the whole thing is just unbelievable. I've been involved in and close to the brokerage businesses for almost 50 years, and I can't understand how they could ever let this happen. This is the way markets used to be run up until about 1980 in Europe. Companies would trade among each other, and the volume and prices would never show up in the newspaper or in the exchanges.
Wow. I mean, this is unconscionable, and people, the same ones who are putting it together, the ones, Mr. Chapman, who are screaming about how wonderful the free market system is, and it has to be a free market system, and yet they're doing this.
There is no free market system. Besides what they're doing, we get the United States government in the market all the time, 24 hours a day, all over the world. And at the present time, it's legal to do so under executive order. And I believe that there shouldn't be anything such as executive orders. I mean, it's absurd. Everything that has to be done in the country should go through Congress. That's not the way it is. And so that's how they get away with this. And via the Federal Reserve, they control everything. And the problems we got are never going to stop and be ended until we get rid of the Fed, rid of the federal income tax, and take the regulatory agencies and separate them from government and have them privately run.
Absolutely. Now, the system you say isn't being fixed. It's only being extended. The financial system is insolvent, but you're saying they probably bought another 2 years despite the increase in deflation. Over the next 2 years, the impact of events will be staggering. Wall Street and banking will get their comeuppance from the public. Now, here's then the scenario, and you want to see what's going to happen. The plug's been pulled on manufacturing. Next is consumer consumption. The next 3 or 4 years in housing, then Wall Street, banking, and insurance, social dislocation, and martial law. Now, when all of this starts to come down, and I think the people are really getting upset now, they're doing it all over the world. There's no reason to believe that Americans are going to be quiet when they're rioting elsewhere around the world, is there?
No, they'll have problems in America, and that's why they got those camps built. Anybody who argues with the government or demonstrates, they just throw them into a camp.
Now, the way out,
that'll bring revolution to the country. And I think the American military will not follow orders by the federal government, and they already know about this, because I've discussed it with generals and other officers, particularly in elite forces, and they said, look, we know what these people are doing, and we're not going to shoot Americans, our fellow countrymen, and we're not going to do what they tell us to do.